Pooh and the very windy afternoon. It was a rather blustery sort of day in the Hundred Acre Wood. The leaves did lots of swirling, and the trees did lots of waving, and the sky, well, it seemed to enjoy whooshing. Winnie the Pooh, a bear of very little brain but a very big heart, was sitting outside his house with a small jar of honey and a very large thought. "I suppose," said Pooh to no one in particular, "this is the sort of day where you need to hold onto your hat. If, of course, you had a hat, which I don't. But if I did, I'd hold it." Then Pooh frowned slightly, in the thoughtful way that bears sometimes do. "Although," he said slowly, "I did have a hat once. Or was it a pot lid?"
He paused.
"Never mind. I shall go visit Piglet and see if he has anything that needs thinking about." Pooh walked along the path, humming a hum and stopping every so often to pick up a leaf, examine it, then let it go so it could swirl away with the wind. He liked how the leaves danced. He thought they looked rather cheerful. When he arrived at Piglet's house, he knocked on the door in the gentle way that best friends knock. "Who is it?" came a small voice. "It's me," said Pooh. "Pooh Bear. I've come for a bit of conversation. And perhaps, if you have it, a little something." Piglet opened the door and looked around nervously at the flying leaves. "Oh, Pooh," Piglet whispered, "it's terribly blustery, isn't it?" "Very," said Pooh. "So, I thought I'd walk over to your house, so we could not be alone while it's blowing." "That was kind of you," Piglet said, smiling. "I do feel less wobbly when you're around." Pooh smiled back and said, "Let's have tea." Or something like tea. Which, in Pooh's world, meant something with honey in it. After some tea, Piglet looked out the window and said, "Pooh, do you think Owl's tree is all right in all this wind?" Pooh tapped his head. Think, he said. "I think that Owl is very wise and trees are very tall, so if Owl's house is tall and wise, it's probably doing just fine. But it wouldn't hurt to check." So Pooh and Piglet bundled up and headed out into the wind. As they walked, the gusts grew stronger. "Oh, bother," said Pooh, as his scarf flew off for the second time. "Do you suppose Owl needs help?" asked Piglet. "Maybe he doesn't know he needs it," said Pooh. "Sometimes you don't know until someone shows up." When they reached Owl's tree, they saw something quite upsetting. Owl's door had blown open, and papers were flying out like butterflies. "Owl," called Piglet. There was no answer. "Perhaps he's inside, too busy picking up thoughts," Pooh said, stepping carefully inside. Owl was indeed there, flapping around, trying to catch scrolls and feathers that were zooming in every direction.
"Oh, Pooh,"
"Piglet,"
Owl cried.
"this wind is most uncooperative. My wisdom is flying all over the place." Pooh caught a paper on his nose. "We'll help," he said simply. And they did. Piglet pinned down maps with pebbles. Pooh sat on a stack of flying books. Owl stopped flapping and started breathing. "Thank you," Owl said at last. "It's nice having company when your world is falling sideways." Pooh nodded. That's what friends are for. To sit in the middle of sideways and hold it steady. As the wind settled just a bit, the three of them shared some warm cider and decided that going out again wouldn't be wise until the wind was less enthusiastic. But just then a knock came at the door. It was Eeyore.
Wet.
Wind-blown. Looking like a very sad balloon that had been dragged through the hedge. "Just came to say," Eeyore said gloomily, "my tail's missing again." "Oh dear." Piglet gasped. "Oh, bother," said Pooh. "I saw it blow by," Eeyore added. "May have landed in the pond. Or the tree. Or the moon." "Well," said Pooh, "then we had better go find it." So the team set out, Owl flying above, Piglet trotting, Pooh thinking, and Eeyore following behind. They checked the pond. They checked the bush. They checked under Rabbit's laundry line. But then Piglet squeaked. "There it is. Stuck in the fence." Eeyore walked over, looked at his tail, and said, "Good of it to wait for me." Pooh picked it up and tied it on gently with a red ribbon. "There," said Pooh. "As good as tailishly possible." Eeyore blinked slowly and said, "That's
nice."
"Thank you." "You're welcome," said Pooh. "Tails are important, and so are friends." As the wind began to calm, and the sun peeked out just a bit. The animals gathered under a big oak tree and watched the clouds drift by. "I suppose," said Pooh, "that a day like this reminds you how big the sky is." "And how small you feel," added Piglet. "And how lucky you are," said Owl, "to have companions in it." Eeyore nodded. "Even windy skies have silver linings. Or at least tails." They all laughed. That evening, Pooh sat by his window with a honey pot and a smile. He had not meant to do anything brave that day.
Or wise.
Or clever. But he had been a friend. And that, Pooh thought, was something. Maybe even a very important something. Moral 1. Friendship means showing up, even when it's hard. Pooh and Piglet went out in the wind to check on Owl, not because they had to, but because they cared. Even a small visit can mean the world to someone. Moral 2. Sometimes, the smallest help is the biggest gift. From catching a paper to tying on a tail, little acts of kindness make a big difference. No one has to be a hero, just be there.